Be sure to pre-order your copy of the Go-Go Offense by Coach Brennan Marion as he takes you through the ins and outs of the most explosive offense and most exciting offense in college football. You can find it on our website at footballgameplan.com/GoGoOffense. Welcome to Football Game Plan, where football makes sense. I'm Emory Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Mike McCarthy is your producer today. It's the summertime and preseason is just around the corner in the NFL, and we'll get you ready for the upcoming 2019 NFL season as we preview the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, as we kick off the season preview, let us take a look at some of the key storylines heading into the season as we go into our 4-minute offense.
Down in Tampa Bay, Bruce Arians arrives with much fanfare as a new head coach for the Buccaneers. An 18-year veteran, Arians' highlight at the helm remains his 13-3 season with the Cardinals. Over his time in the NFL, Arians established a reputation as a quarterback guru, having worked with great ones like Ben Roethlisberger, Carson Palmer, and even Andrew Luck. If he can make Jameis Winston great like he did with the others, the Bucs will make some noise in the NFC South in 2019. As it stands today, Jameis Winston is the #1 quarterback for the Bucs. However, it's a make-or-break year for Jameis, as the 5th-year option was not picked up by the team. He entered the league with some off-field concerns, and suspensions have cut into his playing time as a pro. He's also thrown for 58 interceptions and has never thrown for more than 4,100 yards. 2019 is a big year for Winston, and he hopes his new head coach can bring him some success. Devin White was selected with the 5th overall pick in the draft, with many accolades, including the 2018 Dick Butkus Award, which goes to the nation's top linebacker. Is White the next Derek Brooks in Tampa? He'll certainly want to live up to those lofty expectations that come with being a middle linebacker for the Bucs. If he can play up to his draft stock, he'll be a key part of Tampa's defense in 2019. Ndamukong Suh is a 3-time first-team All-Pro, known for his strength and interior disruption on the defensive line. In his 9-year career, he's accumulated 56 sacks and 107 tackles for losses. He's a cornerstone player for each team he's played for, and he's looking to be the same kind of asset to the Buccaneers in 2019. If he can play up to his usual standard, he'll be sure to help Tampa improve on their 31st ranked defense in points allowed.
It's time to put this team under the microscope and go position by position to see where they stand as we head into the 2019 season, and we'll start on the offensive side of the ball at the quarterback position. Jameis Winston is the unquestioned starter in Tampa Bay, and it's up to him to remain that way for not only this year, but beyond. His penchant for turning the ball over has been an issue since entering the league. All is not bad, though, as a former Florida State Seminole has made a Pro Bowl and thrown more touchdowns than interceptions in his career. Consistency is what the front office and staff ask from Jameis, and the hope is that new head coach Bruce Arians can get him there. If that happens, then the Bucs will have no problem in extending the former Heisman Trophy winner. The Bucs running game has been an ongoing issue, or concern for that matter, for quite some time. It's never as consistent as you would like it to be. Now, there is a collection of guys here that are capable of toting the rock, with one, Ronald Jones, being the most explosive breakaway threat out this group. So it'll be interesting to see how Bruce Arians divvies up the carries this year, or whether or not he goes with one guy as a lead dog. I would keep an eye on Bruce Anderson, the undrafted rookie free agent out of North Dakota State, as he has a lot of the traits that Arians looks for in his running back. He's very similar to free agent signee Andre Ellington. I like the stability here on the perimeter for Tampa Bay. Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are a formidable duo that are extremely strong at the catch point. If you're Jameis Winston, you love taking chances with those guys as your targets, because 9 times out of 10, they'll come down with the reception. Now, there will be a battle for spots 3 through 7 on this roster, as there's a lot of youth here for Tampa. Rashad Perriman is coming off of a rebirth in Cleveland, where he finally started to look like a first-round pick that he was coming out of UCF. And Justin Watson out of Penn was a 5th-round pick last year for the Bucs and has the ability to play any one of the 3 receiver spots. I would also keep an eye on 2 undrafted rookie free agents in Anthony Johnson out of Buffalo and Xavier Ubosi out of UAB. Both are big-body wide receivers with strong run-after-the-catch skills. Tampa is very strong at tight end, with O.J. Howard and Cameron Brate leading the way. You can essentially call these guys 1A and 1B. Both are excellent receivers and are strong in the running game. I really like the upside of Anthony Auclair, a Canadian prospect they got a couple of years ago, and free agent signee Jordan Leggett, whom they were able to bring in and claim off waivers from the New York Jets. Now, Auclair has gotten better each and every year, getting acclimated to the pro game. I also wouldn't count out Tanner Hudson as well, who saw some time late last season with this Bucs team. Continuity is king. It's extremely important along the offensive line, and the Bucs have that as 4 of the 5 starters returned up front, led by tackle Donovan Smith. Now, the Bucs are hoping that having that continuity will yield itself to more success on the ground. The 5th spot is at guard, where it could be a battle between Caleb Banach, Alex Kappa, and Earl Wofford. The latter was brought in during free agency and figures to have the upper hand at the position. Either way, the Bucs have solid depth on the interior. Overall, this is a very stable offensive line that'll be looking to break through in 2019. Now, here are my grades for the Bucs offensive units. The Bucs are really deep along the defensive line. Yes, they'll miss Gerald McCoy, but with the way they beefed up here in the offseason, I don't think they'll be missing him all that much. The biggest acquisition was Ndamukong Suh, who is coming off of a stellar playoff run with the Rams and hopefully bringing that same productivity to this Bucs defense. Vita Vea looks to be healthy and should pick up right where he left off late last season. JPP was expected to play a huge role within this defense, but he suffered a neck injury in a car accident this past spring, and his status is unknown. Rookie Anthony Nelson out of Iowa is one to watch. He had some really good tape in college and is one of the more fundamentally sound defensive linemen that you'll see. Nose tackle Bo Allen and rookie Terry Beckner Jr. out of Missouri gives them good depth on the interior. Now, the edge rusher should be able to have more success this year as they're going to more of a 3-4 look. That means guys like Carl Nassib, Shaq Barrett, and Noah Spence should see their sack numbers and opportunities increase as they'll get more opportunities to get after the QB. Keep an eye on undrafted rookie free agent Cousin Daniels out of Charleston. He was just as disruptive as his teammate John Kaminsky, who was taken by the Atlanta Falcons. Now, on the inside at linebacker, Devin White should be as good as advertised and will pair up nicely with Levante David, who is one of the top linebackers in the game. To provide good depth, Tampa added Deion Buchanan in free agency to the mix. He, Kevin Minter, as well as Jack Sitchie, should help strengthen this unit as a whole. The secondary is one area where the Bucs want to get better this offseason. They addressed this issue with 3 draft picks in safety Mike Edwards and corners Jamel Dean and Sean Bunton out of Central Michigan. Last year, they brought in MJ Stewart, Jordan Whitehead, and Carlton Davis. So that's 6 defensive backs in 2 draft classes. I think the talent is here, and as they switch to a more aggressive attacking style, press style philosophy, those guys, along with Vernon Hargraves, Justin Evans, and Kentrell Bryce, should be the direct beneficiary of it. This group will be vastly improved in 2019, in my opinion. Now, here is how I grade out the defensive units for the Bucs. A lot of what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers want to do this upcoming season is get Jameis Winston going early in the ball game, give him some easy throws where you can get him in that rhythm to where he's not forcing passes later on in the game. And one way they can do that, just coming off play action, simple sprint, draw, fake, pass. And I'm going to show you what I'm talking about and why we have it drawn up the way we do. It's a simple route combination between Mike Evans and also O.J. Howard. We're going to put Cameron Brate in the backfield and Chris Godwin in the tight alignment. We're going to bring him over across the middle of the field. Nice little outlet pass. But as you can see, before the cadence starts to wind down, we're going to bring O.J. Howard in motion. Little yo-yo motion. Bring him back right there. He's going to split the difference between Mike Evans and also the tackle. Going to have him just run up, out route. Mike Evans is going to run the deep curl route. Fake the play action pass here. Tight end's going to come up and block. You can even fake the sprint draw right there and send a guy like Ronald Jones with that speed that they have to respect deep down the field to hopefully take a safety away. Jameis Winston can make the easy decision to go high, low, or crosser coming across the middle. So again, nice, easy concept. This is simply something that you can see run in high school, and that's how simple it is, and that's how effective it is. I think when you have a guy like Jameis Winston that wants to be so great, he tends to press, and when you're able to get him into a groove early, we've seen the best of Jameis. I think we're going to see the more of the best of Jameis this year with Bruce Arians. What I like about new Tampa Bay defensive coordinator Todd Bowles' defense is that he can apply pressure without having to send the house. And I think when you look at what the Bucs have added this offseason on defense, they're going to be able to do that a lot in this division. Show you what I'm talking about here. You can even bring an extra defensive back, so to speak, within the game and still apply pressure. And we know Deion Buchanan is a linebacker safety, so I added him in this formation. We're going to send him across the edge. We're really going to send 4 and play man free on the back end. So we're going to have this guy be the free safety. He's going to back up and play cover 1, but you're going to send 4, but really it's going to be tight man coverage across the board because you have a safety matched up on a tight end. You have the nickel back that can also serve as a safety, matched up on a slot receiver. Again, their personnel is excellent this year, and these corners can play off-man coverage. So the front four is going to get pressure. You're going to have green dog alerts with these two inside backers and their rookie first-round pick, Devin White, along with what they have in Levante David. So if the back goes this way, he's manned up, he's going to go free. If the back goes this way, he's manned up, and he's going to go free. And again, Ndamukong Suh, JPP, Noah Spence, I think is going to be a solid player for him this year. Now that he's going to be more in that edge rusher role that suits his skill set best. But they do have a bunch of talent, again, up front, on the back end, which will be a lot more creative than what we'll see, than what we're expecting to see, because I do believe when you have the talent to be aggressive and be creative, and you have on the back end guys that can play multiple roles within the defense, it allows you then to get creative. And I think Ty Bowles is one of the better defensive minds in the game. And when you look at this Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense, that was a significant weakness last year. Even with some pieces that they've let go, like Gerald McCoy, and they bring in Ndamukong Suh, I think this defense still has a chance to be vastly improved this year, and it puts a lot of pressure on opposing offenses.
And the final team in the NFC South, it's going to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, folks. Jameis Winston. I think Bruce Arians wants to prove some points with him, so he is worth drafting. I think he has a good opportunity to be really successful this year. I have to see it first in the preseason, not because of his talent, but I want to see how they're going to utilize him to see if from a fantasy standpoint we want to really go all in on him and say that 5th, 6th, 7th round range, or whether we want to say, you know, you wait to that 9th, 10th, 11th round range. A guy who I think will take off this year as the year goes along. Not early. I think by like week 6 or 7, he'll catch his stride and he'll take over. I like Ronald Jones, folks. You gotta remember, he was 20 at one point. When he was drafted, he was 20 years old. He's still learning how to be a football player. The talent's there. I think he's putting on the weight this year. I think he'd get himself into good shape. And because of last year's faux pas with people drafting him over Peyton Barber, which even in my own draft, someone did that in one of my larger involvement drafts. Someone took Ronald Jones, and then the next round I took Peyton Barber, and I said Ronald Jones is not going to start because he's too young. He doesn't know the game yet. But once he catches on, which this could be the season, Ronald Jones is going to show you. So you might be able to get Ronald Jones because of that and people being scorned you last year. You can probably get Ronald Jones in that 9th, 10th, 11th round. That's when you take him. Peyton Barber's going to have value, especially early on, because Peyton Barber is consistency. If Peyton Barber can be your number 4 running back at worst, or at worst number 3, you're doing good. It means that you have a guy who can fill in as your flex if necessary, especially if it's a bad matchup against a team, until Ronald Jones catches on. But out of the two, I'd rather wait and draft Ronald Jones, because I think eventually he's going to blow up this year. Mike Evans is Mike Evans. He's going in the top 30 picks. We know that's going to happen. Chris Godwin, he has super weird stats where if he plays in games, he's going to ball out. It's just that he didn't get on the field. Like, he was on the field for like 55 or something percent of, don't quote me on the percentage, but just give you an example, about 55% of the passing plays last year. Once he actually got on the field, though, he balled out. So this year, should ball out. He's been getting a lot of pubs, so people have been pushing him up to that 5th round range. That's too rich for my blood. I think he's more of a 7th round pick, if I'm going to be honest, because, again, I don't know if they're going to do more of a focal point on being efficient for Jameis, and I think one place where Chris Godwin succeeds is on deep passes because he's an inconsistent pass catcher. And this is the guy who I think will be the most polarizing because of the position and state of tight end. I think he has the opportunity, O.J. Howard, to be the best tight end in the league this year from a fantasy standpoint. I just don't think he will be. In fact, I think he's going to be drafted way too high. I've seen him going in mock drafts in the 4th round. I sound like I'm contradicting myself because from a talent standpoint, I think he could be the best tight end in fantasy football. I think from a schematic standpoint and how he's going to be utilized, he won't come close to that. I think he's going to have a 10th or 11th round value. And considering where he's been drafted in that 4th round, 5th round range, especially, I saw one mock draft, and maybe people were just being crazy, but Took him in the late 3rd round, which I think is just asinine, but all right.
Troy Anthony here, bringing you the best bet for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Buccaneers win line opens up at over under 6.5 games. They play a tough schedule this season and are in a tough division. They have to play NFC West and the AFC South. At -110, I'm taking the under 6.5 wins. I love the draft pick of Devin White though in the 1st round. He can be in the running for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Right now you can get him at +700 to win the award. I'm Troy Anthony, that's all for now. Follow me at Football Fandom on Twitter, replacing the O's with zeros.
I'm David Hassagen, and this is Huddle Up with Hassagen. We're going to fire off some quick takes for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Who are the Bucs breakout candidates this season, Emery?
Justin Watson, wide receiver out of Penn. Big fan of his game. He was very good at the East-West Shrine game. We saw him at the Senior Bowl. Last year, he played more special teams, spot duty role. I think he's going to take a significant jump this year. Defensively, I like Jordan Whitehead out of Pitt. I like his versatility. He can play deep safety, shallow safety. He can play corner. He's a good blitzer. He's a good tackler near the line of scrimmage. I think he's going to be primed for a breakout year this season for Tampa Bay.
Let's talk about some of these rookies. A lot of hype around Devin White.
Yeah, Devin White is going to be my breakout my rookie candidate, impact player, because he's going to be a starter.
Yeah.
So he's going to have an impact there. Running back, undrafted free agent Bruce Anderson, North Dakota State. Like his game. That's a position where it's up for grabs, and I think he has a chance to really make an impact.
Let's talk about some of the X factors for this year's Bucs team. Obviously, a lot of places where they could come from. Where do you think they're going to be?
I think you have to look at 2 rookies from last year. Offensively, Ronald Jones. We talked about tailback position just now. He has to be the guy. He has a breakaway speed. If he can step up and be what they thought he was when they drafted him, great for the Bucs. Defensively, Vita Vea. They don't have Gerald McCoy. Now, Vita Vea is going to step in and be the big cog in the middle, pun intended, but he has to be an impact player to free up opportunities on the outside for those edge rushers in that new Todd Bowles defense.
Who do you think are going to be the big surprises out of training camp this year?
I think you look at the undrafted free agents or the small college offensive linemen. Reuben Holcomb was in camp with them last year out of Indianapolis. He's a really good player, good prospect. And this year's undrafted free agent, Nate Traywin, out of Wisconsin Whitewater, has a chance to really surprise and be an impact for Tampa Bay up front. And I think defensively, Jake Sitchie, we remember him just being an impactful player for the Wisconsin Badgers, always finding himself in the backfield getting sacks. His only knock, injuries. He's been hurt virtually every season dating back to Wisconsin, and it's a string of unfortunate events for him as far as injury is concerned. You can't predict that, but if he's healthy, he's going to surprise us.
Where are the optimism and pessimism going to come from for the Bucs this season?
I think the new coaching staff, because I like Bruce Arians and what he does offensively, so I think they're going to be better there. Defensively, I'm a big Todd Bowles fan. We saw the impact he had with his Jets defense, and I thought he actually did a solid job up here with New York. He didn't have the offense. But when those two were together, Bruce Arians and Todd Bowles, we saw them do great things. And here's an opportunity for them to do it again. So that's the optimism. The concern would be if they can't find a running game. Now they're going to put Jameis Winston in a situation where he's going to have to throw the football more than probably they want to. And we know he has the propensity to have those turnovers. That's going to have to get cleaned up. And also, you look defensively, what they're going to get out of Jason Pierre-Paul. Is he going to be the impact player they need? How much will they miss Gerald McCoy? You know, can Vita Vea be that guy? So there are some questions defensively, enough to where you could have some concern about Tampa Bay. Emery Hunt-Azar, the Playbook here, and joining me now is fellow football game plan analyst Troy Anthony for this 4 Downs with Azar segment, continuing with our preview of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as we take a look at the road to the Super Bowl for the Bucs. I think it starts and stops with Jameis Winston. If he can take the next step and cut the turnovers in half, they're going to be much better offensively. His numbers don't make sense in a way. You know, you look at 88 touchdowns, like, wow, that's a lot of touchdowns he's thrown, to only 56 interceptions. But when you look at it side by side, you're like, wow, the touchdown to interception ratio is pretty close. And he has to cut down on those turnovers. The touchdowns have to go up, turnovers have to go down. If he can improve his play and stabilize his play, Bucs might be something on offense.
Not only does he have to improve his play on offense, but we have to figure out what's going on with their running back situation on offense. They haven't had a decent running back since Doug Martin's first 2.5 years. You know, they drafted Ronald Jones last year. He doesn't really touch the field. their running back situation for the past couple of seasons, it's just been a jumble. It's like, all right, stick him in there now. Okay, he's next week, stick the next person in. They need somebody to solidify that #1 spot, a bell cow who's going to carry their offense for them.
I think when you look at what they've done defensively, it's been a lot of attention in the secondary. I thought the 2018 draft, they did a great job of addressing players in the secondary. MJ Stewart out of North Carolina, I thought he was a phenomenal pick. I also love what they did as well as with the corner Davis out of Auburn. This year, they go back again and attack the secondary. So you got a lot of young guys in the secondary. Vernon Hargreaves is one that has been there 3 years, and you hopefully see him take the next step. But I think their secondary, with all those pieces that they've added, they have to step up and show, okay, they made a wise investment by investing heavily in the cornerback position, the safety position. These guys are going to have to start turning the ball over. They're going to have to start playing much better because we know with the new defensive coordinator, Todd Bowles, they're going to be able to apply pressure with the front seven. There's going to be ample opportunities for these guys to take the ball away, and you have to be able to convert.
Yeah, defense is going to be key for this team this season. Last season, they let up 464 points. That's second most in the league. They're going to have to figure out how to get off the field without the team scoring a touchdown. Maybe give up a couple of field goals. They can't give up nonstop touchdowns. They get rid of Gerald McCoy. They replace him right with Ndamukong Suh. They've spent a whole bunch of money on defense this year. They draft on defense. It seems that it was pertinent to get that fixed, and they're going to need that if they're going to have any shot of making a run.
You talk about the Bucs in this division of the NFC South. You've seen the Saints, Panthers, and Falcons all make the Super Bowl recently. The Bucs haven't been that team to get, first in the division and also make the Super Bowl. Maybe if these defensive adjustments, maybe if they find that running game and Jameis cuts the turnovers, this team can finally get over the hump and get back to a Super Bowl. I have the Bucs finishing 4th in the NFC South. I love their defense. I think this defense will be one of the better ones we'll see this year. They went from worst to first. This defense, I think, has all the components, along with the coach, to make the move. Offensively, I worry about the ground game, and I think that's going to cause them to be in a lot of one-dimensional situations, which will keep them not having the success they need to be at the top half of this division. It'll be fun to watch, but if they can get that ground game going, then yes, they can move up. But right now, I have them finishing 4th in the NFC South. For this season preview, I'm Emory Hunt, the czar of the Playbook. Be sure to follow me on all of our social media accounts, and don't forget to check out and subscribe to Football Game Plan Podcast on iTunes, where you can find our NFL All 32 podcasts, our fantasy football starting lineup, as well as our Scout Team podcast, and leave us a 5-star rating. Also, subscribe to the Football Game Plan Network, located at youtube.com/footballgameplan. Finally, every Thursday and Friday evening at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, be sure to check out the Football Game Plan show on the Game Plus Network. Check with your cable provider for channel listings.